Now, 5 permanent secretaries from the EAC partner states are converging in Kisumu for a special stakeholders forum ahead of the launch of the 20 years of existence. Joining us to discuss this and more concerning the EAC and also the regional integration and what impact it will have on the economy is our reporter Baraka Karama, who is in Kisumu. Good afternoon, Baraka. And what is the latest concerning the economic integration and what will Kisumu County gain from this particular forum? Over to you.
Sarah, 5 permanent secretaries from the East African partner states, that is Kenya, Rwanda, Burundi, Uganda, and Tanzania, are currently held up in a closed-door meeting to deliberate on, among other issues, the regional integration. Kenya, is one of the member states of the EAC, and of course, the PS. The new PS for East African community, Dr. Kevin Desai, is now joining us maybe to give us more brief about the milestone of the East African community as they celebrate 20 years of existence. Remember, this is one of the major areas that the EAC, of course, is focusing on, bearing the fact that we have the one border stop in Busia, and of course other areas in Sirare, in Sibania, along Migori County. Just allow me to engage the PS, the new PS for East African Community, Dr. Kevin Desai. Welcome to the. Just welcome. Okay, kindly, I'll start by asking you the milestone as the EAC celebrates 20 years. Of course, we have quite a number of milestones. Of course, there are also challenges facing the EAC partner states. What are the key issues that you're trying to look into?
Indeed, this has been progressive. This has been progressive over the last 20 years, as you have mentioned, and it continually aspires to achieve not only gains for Kenya, but for the entire East African community, consisting of 6 states in total. Some of the aspirations which hinge the entire EAC together include, the promotion of social transformation for the entire East African community, as well as environmental transformation and economic transformation. And this includes, the ability to open up trade opportunities, expand value chains into our respective countries, create an interdependency which is hugely strengthened and will promote those aspirations of social, economic, and environmental.
How do you intend to achieve that?
Several milestones to date have been achieved with respect to our ongoing work on non-trade barriers and tariff barriers. The ability for us to open up access for people to travel in the EAC community, for professionals to increasingly have access to opportunity of work and practice, the ability for us to promote the one border stops and encourage greater efficiency for trade and opportunities. But above this, of course, there's the extended opportunities with respect to finding ways in which we're able to ensure that young women and men are able to also study in East African states. Recently, we launched a scholarship program for 60 students. This enables students in the East African community to study in universities in different parts and different states.
In terms of trade, do you think 20 years, as the EAC celebrates 20 years, do you think there's been an increase in trade within the 5 partner states?
Not only has there been an increase in trade, which has promoted our manufacturing base to access 170 million people within East Africa and the potential, but the growing possibilities of being more interdependent and enhancing foreign direct investment, as well as realizing global value chains into the community, will further expand that. Trade is one part of the success, but of course the service industry is yet another part, where we hope to ensure that artisans, craftsmen, master craftsmen, technicians and technologists also have access to these markets. After all, the resolve of the EAC is to ensure that we promote a people-centered development, and this is why the transformations and the activities that we undertake are all about ensuring that people are able to access greater levels of markets, but at the same time ensure that there's a common standard across the member states to enhance levels of productivity, innovation and efficiency. There's also the aspect of protection and the aspiration of protecting the East African community from radicalization, from security threats, from the ability for us to protect our natural resources. And finally, you know, there's the very important aspiration that we galvanize as the East African states to promote a greater engagement on global affairs, both environmental, social and economic. This all adds to the gains of the entire community, and in particular ensuring that this becomes highly people-centered and promotes the transformation and the possibilities of greater opportunity for every citizen within the East African community.
Okay, of course, there are quite a number of challenges. How do you plan to tackle those challenges facing the 5 EAC partner states?
Efforts are being made to promote greater interdependency. This indeed promotes collaboration, a collective ownership, and most importantly, the ability for us to engage efficiently and in a way in which promotes a value proposition. Efforts are being made to promote greater professionalization in the way we engage and the way we collaborate. Efforts are being made to find ways in which we promote greater integrity with systems and structures and standards as a foundation. And finally, we are as inclusive as possible to ensure that we meet the common man and woman. We imagine, you know, a farmer in the remotest part of this country having a sense that what he's producing, what he or she is producing, has access to the entire East African community. And it's this awareness and involvement, as well as the ability for us to be inclusive to the aspirations of the common man and woman, which gives the EAC the basis for its development.
Well, that was the Permanent Secretary in the State of East African Community, Dr. Kevit Desai, of course, giving us a brief about the purpose of this particular forum. Like I mentioned, the 5 permanent secretaries from the larger East African region are currently held up in a closed-door meeting, trying to deliberate among other issues of the regional integration. Remember, this particular region, Kisumu to be precise, is one of the areas that, of course, the East African community is looking into. Just recently, we saw the rehabilitation of the Kisumu Inland Port that is currently waiting to be officially commissioned. And of course, the East African partner states are supposed to benefit in the rehabilitation of that particular port. So that's it. We'll be getting more details from other permanent secretaries from Uganda, Tanzania, and of course other areas like Burundi, just to try and give us the brief. Back to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Baraka Karama, for that update. We'll be giving you a comprehensive update concerning that from Kisumu. Now, moving on, the state has set aside 250 million for completion of all stalled projects at the Kenya Industrial Training Institute in Nakuru.